Well, thank you, Ruth, for joining us today on the podcast, Handcrafted Therapy. Ruth, I have to tell you, you're one of my favorite instructors I've ever had the pleasure to take a class from. You make things so interesting and fun for everybody in the class, and you're just such a pleasure to be around. So I want to thank you for your light and your energy and your spirit because it shines through in everything that you do. So I want to start by saying that.
Thank you. Very, very kind. And that was a really good class in April. And every class is as good as its students. And you all were a bunch of really cool students. I was very lucky to have every one of you in my class. And it was so much fun. So it was great. If every class is like that, then I'm happy. Makes me happy.
We did have a good group of people. So I met Ruth at the AMTA, or the American Massage Therapy Association, Texas Chapter State Convention. That's a lot of words, but that's where I met Ruth at. And I happened to sign up for her class, and it was just phenomenal. And one of the things that I took away from it was an introduction to the Traeger method. And I know that's a passion that you have. And if you can, you're much better at summarizing what Traeger is than I am. If you can summarize it, that would be fantastic.
Yes. And I don't blame you. You did really well describing it, but I'm going to refer to my notes here too. So that's something that every Traeger practitioner has a little bit of a struggle with, is describing it, because it's not a technique, it's a feeling. And how do you describe a feeling? And so that's really why I do a lot of demos, putting hands on people so they can actually feel what it feels like. So I wrote a little summaries, like Traeger in a nutshell. The Traeger approach is a somatic movement therapy modality that helps release patterns of tension held in the brain. Gentle touch and soft weighing, rocking, jostling, and range of motion moves of the body and limbs induce a deep state of relaxation. The results are immediate and tangible improvements in circulation, flexibility, range of motion, and balance. You will also be shown how you can take the resulting sensations with you and recall and recreate them in everyday life. This is the science behind it. For many, many years, Dr. Milton Traeger, he would always say, there's this thing that I do and it works. And people would tell him, you can't say that in front of a scientific community. They're not going to, take you seriously. And in the meantime, science has caught up with what Dr. Traeger actually did. And Traeger uses tensegrity of the musculoskeletal system and neuromuscular interaction to stimulate neuroplasticity of the brain. The soothing, safe, and comfortable touch almost immediately switches the nervous system from sympathetic fight and flight to parasympathetic rest and digest, resulting in a deep state of relaxation throughout the body and mind. So it also works obviously on the lymphatic system. It's very gentle. It's like rocking a baby to sleep, and your body recognizes that and goes like, oh, I remember that. And so it just lets go. It just really, with massage, it takes about half an hour for the body to relax. With Traeger, it's almost practically like 10 minutes or immediately. I do Traeger demos at the local holistic fairs in Fort Worth. And that gets me out. I can put my hands on people. And they usually do anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Some people do a little longer sessions, up to 30 minutes. And I'm still amazed I don't have a lot of expectations on those sessions because they're demos, but it's still blows my mind every once in a while. It just blows my mind how immediate the results are. They walk away. It's like, oh, my back feels better, or I could watch them go away and they're not limping anymore or less knee pain. It's pretty amazing.
I was really impressed by the demo that you showed us in class because you're absolutely right. It was like rockabye baby. And within a few seconds, my body just completely melted into the table. And, I, as a therapist, have found that I do that to people when I need, like, if they're, have their arms straight up and down and I want them to relax, I find myself kind of rocking them to get them to relax. So I think it's in our nature as massage therapists to do that. And I'm just so thankful that there is actually a method created around that concept and that my instincts on that is actually pretty correct, right?
Yeah. It's in our human nature. It's not just as a massage therapist, but it's in our human nature, from the minute we are born, your mom takes you and rocks you. I mean, when the womb, we are rocked and moved and all of that. So it's something that your subconscious mind it's really what remembers it, and it comes back and it releases patterns of tension, especially, well, not just from like chronic, but also acute tensions in our body are really patterns that are stored in the brain. And by rocking and showing the body, hey, look, you can move. It's safe to move like that again. The brain goes like, oh yeah, remember back when everything worked. I remember what that feels like. And then they go, oh, I can do that. It feels good. And so it's very gentle. It never goes beyond your pain threshold. It's all within what feels comfortable and safe. And so it's absolutely pain-free. And a lot of people, they have this attitude that massage has to hurt in order to help. And that's why also I do demos, and they go like, oh, I didn't know you could do something this gentle and it makes a difference. And it does. And sometimes people are so locked up that all I really can do is Traeger, and amazing results pretty much right away. First session makes a difference. So,
and in our world right now, a lot of us are hyper anxiety, hyper, fight or flight mode. We're constantly at a defensive position and a defensive posture, both physically and mentally. So something like that, I think, is so important for our society in general to kind of help calm us down. I mean, not just massage, but this particular technique specifically calms down that entire nervous system and just resets. And I think that's just so important, especially right now. I also want to ask you, Ruth, tell me a little bit about where you're from and how you made it to Texas, how you made it as a massage therapist.
how much time do you have? Yeah, I always have to introduce myself because I talk a little funny. So I am originally from Switzerland. And as I said, it's a long story. As a teenager, I was in the United States as an exchange student. Had to go back, and I ended up being homesick. And so my dream and goal was to come back and stay for longer than just 11 months. And this has been 31 years now. And I came over, the only visa that I could get was as an international student. And so I started at UTA for a couple semesters, went over to North Lake. And the same year in 91, I had some health issues, and I found somebody who guided me with those issues. And I realized how important it is to take responsibility for your own health. And so my idea was to teach those people who would be interested how to how to take care of this human body. How does it run the best? How to figure out what works best for them to have a healthy, happy, and most pain-free life. And my idea was to become a chiropractor. And I did all my prerequisites for chiropractic college and had a seat. And I realized, well, there's just no way I can afford this. And so I had a friend who was a massage therapist, and her idea was like, why don't you become a massage therapist? And it's like, why not? Maybe I could be a massage therapist and pay my way through chiropractic school. So anyways, I started massage therapy school in maybe November 94 and just fell in love with it. There was no going back. I just fell in love with it. Like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And a little bit, I graduated. I got a job with a chiropractor, which was really good because I realized that I think I made the right decision by becoming a massage therapist instead of a chiropractor. And then the rest is history. I just continued my education, and I wanted to start doing TRAGER Introductory Workshops. And that led me to become an instructor and a continuing education provider. I started doing regular TRAGER Introductory Workshops, and I also teach some massage classes, like the class you took, the 3-day myofascial class. And in September, I will teach a 3-day stretching class. And and then I got other stuff, like ideas that I want to do, but mostly the TRAGER Intro workshops, they're just a lot of fun. And just this idea with the massage therapist that it doesn't have to hurt you or the client to make a difference. It's this aha experience that I could do less and get quicker and better results. Even from pretty much doing nothing, they can see all those changes in their bodies. And I think that's pretty amazing. Anyways, I will always go back to TRAGER. That's it just happens automatically.
Well, I am so thankful that chiropractic school didn't work out for you.
Me too. It's a little bit less expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, keep it simple, have hands, have table, can travel. I could do pretty much with TRAGER. You don't even need lotions. Like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hands off. People can leave their clothes.
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask. They can leave their clothes on.
They can leave their clothes on. So if you have somebody who's really modest, you could still work on them. You can still make a difference. If somebody does not like to be touched, you can lead them in what we call mentastics. It's a gentle mental gymnastics. It's a somatic movement awareness / moving meditation / exercise. Again, it's hard to describe, but you can always research it on TRAGER, at the official TRAGER website. You just Google TRAGER Approach United States, and you'll see samples of it. And also I did some Zoom classes after we opened up again, after I started in October, did some Zoom classes, and the recordings are listed on my website. So you can click on the link and you can check it out. Do it.
And we're going to we'll provide a link to your website on the podcast information. So please go to Ruth's website and check out her upcoming sessions and teaching events that she's having in Fort Worth. And then once my store gets open, she'll have some at my store, hopefully. We can get those on the books as well. So, gosh, Ruth,
where do you work? How do you work? So right now I have a home office. I work out of my house, and it's a nice, somewhat big room. And I also teach classes out of my house. And I think with like 4 to 6 students. 6 gets a little cozy, but we get to know each other anyway. So as long as we're friends, it works. It's not the biggest space, but it's comfortable. And as long as I could teach out of my house, I can keep it affordable. So
Yes.
that's kind of why I do it. And lately the classes have been rather small, 2 to 4 students. And for that, the space is big enough and to move around and do some table work. That's it. And it's in Fort Worth. It's between Fort Worth and Arlington. It's easy to get to.
Nice. Okay. So is there a piece of advice or nugget of truth that you would like every massage therapist listening to know, or has really helped you throughout your career?
One thing I want to say, take classes, as many as you can afford to take. Also take the longer classes, not just the 1-day classes. It will give you more in-depth into a new modality or technique. It's really, really well worth it. And for me, what I did, I took a lot of classes. And I would say if you have a new modality that you feel drawn to, get a couple sessions. Then you know what it feels on your own body from a couple different practitioners. Then you can feel on yourself if this is something that you want to do. And then I would stick with the classes or modalities that work best for your own body. So that's not the same thing for every person, every massage therapist, but it gives us the diversity. Because our clients are the same way. We're not in a competition. Not everybody has to do the same thing. So if you get excited about one modality or passionate about one modality, get really, really good at it. And again, that's something with Traegers. You can mix it with everything else. Once you speak that language, once you know it, I integrate it in every session that I do, and it can be integrated in pretty much any type of body work, as long as even if you're not a massage therapist and you have like a grandmother that you could work on, it really gives you a skill that you can use with friends, family, kids, babies, animals, favorite spot, and you can integrate it. But get a session, and whoever offers them, get different sessions, and whatever works best for you, then you can invest your money and learn it. The more tools in your toolbox, the better. And it's never a waste of money or time, even if you learn something that you might not be your preference to use. So
Yeah, I mean, that's just as important as finding out what you don't want to do. That's one of the things I really like about going to these, like the AMTA convention, is that you can take an intro class to, several different intro classes and find out what is your niche, where is your passion, where is your heart lie, where's your calling at? Because, as you grow as a therapist, it is really pretty important to kind of narrow that space down in your marketing efforts and become that expert in that field, whether it's Traeger, lymphatic drainage, cupping, deep tissue, whatever it may be. A lot of therapists stick to, Swedish and regular massage, and that's okay too. But I think if you're really wanting to make a career out of this business, find your passion, right? And really, really hone in on what you're passionate about. Because if you're passionate about it, you're going to learn as much as you can about that subject, and you're going to talk to your clients about it, and you're going to become friends with your instructors, and you're going to become friends with the experts in the field, and you're going to become an expert in the field really quickly. So that's a really, really great suggestion for our listeners. And I hope that somebody takes that advice.
And there's something else I want to mention. People ask me, how your hands are so soft. They notice that my hands are really soft and comfortable. And I remember my Traeger instructor, his hands were like that. He put his hand on my back and you melt like butter. And I was like, I want hands like that. And then I took other classes. I took the manual lip drainage class, the Dr. Vader, and Hildegard and her son came to teach it from Austria. And she had the same quality of touch. So did my instructor in massage school. They had the same quality of touch. And I was going like, why? And I think it's when you are so passionate about pretty much what you're supposed to do, you will get that touch because it becomes you, and it's what fits your body the best as well. If you're attracted to a certain type of therapy or modality, this is it's yours. It's your language, and it will give you the best quality of touch for that specific modality. So this is yours. Go ahead, do it. Have at it, have fun, enjoy it. And that's really what makes our profession so wonderful, is what we can do with it. We could do what speaks to us, what makes our heart sing. This is why a lot of us, well, actually not a lot of us, but those of us who stay with it for a long time, it's not a profession, it's a calling. This is who we are. And that's why we are so happy doing what we're doing. And we're really supposed to, because that's what translates onto our clients, is how we feel. And so feel comfortable with what you do, feel passionate, feel this is your thing. So this is our gift that we can give our clients. So
I completely agree. And, I think most massage therapists that fall in love with this industry are not in it for the money. They are in it to help people, and they're empaths. And I say we are empathetic, and we are not in it for the money, but we want to make money. We want to make a career out of it. And I think finding your passion within this career really will help you achieve your financial goals as well. And, you start a blog and you start talking about the knowledge that you have in that niche. And that's where I think success and money will follow. Yeah, hopefully. We're crossing our fingers. For those of you who don't see us in the video, we're both going, hopefully that's the case.
For me, it was always keep my expenses low. Then you don't have to work so hard either. So, and I was just lucky. For some reason, it just feels like this is what I was supposed to do, because things would just fall into place. I never really made a lot of money, and that's kind of I probably blocked myself for some reason, but I always kept my expenses low. And whenever I needed to take a class, lo and behold, I had the time and the money. And so it just happened that way. And things happened in my life that I'm where I am now, and I can live on what I make, and I can be me, I can be happy. I can have a lazy day and not sweat it. So.
Well, one thing that I really enjoyed about taking your class is that you were just loving practicing massage as you're doing it. Have fun with it. Dance around the table. You were saying things like that. Loosen up, right? And for those of you who don't see me in the video, I'm like shaking my shoulders and dancing around. And this is what Ruth really emphasized in the class. And I never had any other instructor approach it this way before. And I thought, she's got a real point. We just go in and do our job. And yeah, we're paying attention to the client. And that's where my focus is on the client. But it is about me too. And it is about me having fun and enjoying my job, enjoying what I'm doing, and making it a little bit about me as well, with channeling the benefit to the client, but also those benefits can come to me too. So I thought that was a really nice twist on your instruction type. But if you're listening and you haven't taken a class from Ruth and you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I would highly recommend it. And if you take one nugget, I'm sure you'll get at least one great nugget of information from her if you take a class, because I'm just telling you, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure that you will too. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Ruth?
Well, we're at it. We may as well have fun.
That's right. That's right.
It's kind of my motto. I'm looking forward to you opening your place. That'd be fun. And really thank you for having me and helping me, with my cause too. Right now, I'm the only certified TRAGER practitioner in Dallas-Fort Worth. The next practitioners are 3.5 hours away. Anyway, so I hope that will change. I hope a lot of people will give it a try and come participate, play with us in an intro, and see if that's something for you. And if it's not, that's fine. It's just, I think there's a lot of practitioners out there who at this time have never even heard of it. So my mission right now is to find them and find me, see if TRAGER's something for you. If not, that's fine. Not everybody has to do the same thing. But even if TRAGER's not your thing, it's just the classes give you a real aha experience, how less can be more, and how important it is to take care of yourself. This is really what's going to make your massage more effective, more comfortable for the client. You get better results because however we feel through our touch translates to the client. And it's really, really important.
Yes, completely agree. Well, you've been doing this a really long time, for at least 3 decades. So you are
TRAGER 22 years and massage 27. So yeah, it's been a while, but I love it. That's why I'm with it. That's why I stick with it, because I love it.
And the average career lifespan of a massage therapist is a lot less than that. I think it's like 2 or 3 years, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I wouldn't know the numbers.
I know it's not very long, and I'm going on 15 years this year. And I'll tell you, it is really important to focus on your own personal health. You can't help others if you don't help yourself. And we preach that as massage therapists to our clients all the time. We just need to take our own advice and focus on our self-care as well, which I'm really very much looking forward to creating that space for a center for self-care, so we can come in together and work on each other and have stretching classes and meditation classes and just give each other some grace and some love and some attention that we all, our healer community really needs right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really, really important to be part of this community, and we can exchange, I don't know everything. We can exchange our experiences. Hey, I got somebody who has that. What should I do? How do you do this? And we can help each other. And it's just a community. It's just friendships.
Absolutely. And you've touched on something I want to point out to our listeners about this. And one thing about the massage industry that I love, and this is kind of a blanket statement that's not necessarily correct for every single practitioner out there, but you're absolutely right. We're not competitors. We are in this together. We're in this big world together, navigating massage therapy industry to help each other out. What you've learned, what I've learned, what our listeners have learned, let's share with each other. There's enough people out there that need massage. There's no reason to be competitors. Our coworkers and our other massage therapists, let's bond and be a collective help for each other, because we all, like I said, we all need grace and healing right now. So I'm very thankful for the attitude that you bring to the massage industry. And I hope that our listeners have captured that, have heard that as well. And again, Ruth Bucher, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast and your knowledge and expertise, as well as your energy and your spirit.
You're sweet. Thank you so much, Julie. It's a pleasure.